Hello, and welcome to the first UPL coach interview with myself, Kraft. And I usually use the team name, the San Diego Pichus. So this is kind of going to be like a little new series to get to know the people in the UPL. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. So just like how do these interviews work? How will they work? I'll like go a little bit more into detail this time, and then in the future it'll just be like summarized very quickly for the people I'm interviewing with. But the questions will be from the following random categories. I have a set list of questions that I've prepared. In no way will I be able to ask all those questions, so I'll ask some of them. They're more generalized questions. There will be some personalized questions for each person that I've prepared for them. And then there's going to be a couple questions that people in the UPL want me to ask you. And then at the end, you can ask me a question. We'll probably talk a little bit during each question. You may ask me something during each question, but if there's any like specific questions that at the end, that would also be a perfect time to ask them. And then it's not like I'm going to do these in any order. It's going to be kind of mixed and matched in between, and you guys will kind of see it a little bit as we go through this first one. So first question is, how did you get your team name or your username? And is there anything you want to share about yourself? So like I mentioned, I go by the name Kraft, but you guys also may notice I've been going by the name Potato Army now for a little bit. So Kraft has been a name that I've actually used as my gamer tag, I guess, in a sense, since I was about 7. Um, it was actually not used for Minecraft like many people think. Minecraft wasn't even a thing back then. It was actually used first for Club Penguin. That's how old this is. But yeah, and then Potato Army, I'm not sure you guys can handle this, but essentially there's nothing specific about it. It's honestly just a meme IRL between me and my friends. It's like an inside joke, I guess. But that's it. And I started just using it a couple years ago, more and more. I'm not sure. Maybe one day I'll just phase out Craft completely and it'll be Potato Army only. I haven't decided yet, but for now I just go by both. Both is fine. As for my team name, it's the San Diego Pichus, and as you saw, it's a spiky-eared Pichu. I mean, Pichu's adorable. I really like Pichu, and that's why it's the San Diego Pichus. That's pretty simple. As for anything I want to share about myself, um, I mean, I like Pokemon, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be running a Pokemon League. But, I mean, I like games. I play, League of Legends, as you guys have probably seen. I've been a little playing Genshin a little bit. I've been, hosting D&D for the server. There's some other games. I used to play CS:GO. I'm not a big fan of shooters, so you probably haven't caught me playing that in a while. And I mean, there's some other games, on screen maybe. Who knows? Um, and then, I mean, I kind of mentioned it before on the server, but I like anime. I mean, it's nice to watch. Some of my favorite anime, some of them, I mean, I would. The thing about my favorite anime, I wouldn't even rate all of them like a 10, but I would say that they're like really good, and I would recommend them. But like some of them, again, I'll put some more on screen, but like some of them are more well known, some of them probably not. Like, I mean, well known, Konosuba is pretty well known. That can always make me laugh. Maybe some other like not as known. I really liked this one that came out in 2020, called Somali and the Forest Spirit. So yeah, and there's some more on here that you guys can see. But yeah, I feel like that's a good brief. Who am I? How did I get into Pokemon, and what was my first Pokemon gamer memory? I'm not really sure how I got into Pokemon, to be fair, just because I feel like it's always been a part of me. Like ever since I can remember, Pokemon's been there. But I feel like that's just kind of my generation, how I grew up. As for my first Pokemon game in memory, it kind of goes hand in hand in a sense. And I thought I was the only one that was like this, but apparently it's kind of becoming more normal as I've heard stories. Uh, so I'll actually tell it now. But when I was a little kid, before I got my gamer tag of Craft, my neighbor had a Game Boy and I didn't have a Game Boy, and he had Pokemon Emerald. So whenever we would hang out, we would play on his Game Boy. Would play his Emerald. Among other things that we would do. Other games we would play, TCG, just normal, kid stuff back when people would actually play together outside. But eventually, I got a DS, and eventually I got Pokemon Platinum as my first personal Pokemon game. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love Giratina so much, just because Platinum was my first game, and also Giratina has this cool design. So yeah, that's kind of my first memory in game. So how did I get into competitive Pokemon or draft leagues? So I got into competitive Pokemon around 2015, 2016 or so. It was around the time ORAS like came out, or like was about to switch over to Gen 7. It was like a year or so before then. And at the time, I didn't watch too many PokeTubers. I actually only watched one, and that was I'm not even sure if he's still around or not, but it was Munching Orange. And he started doing a series, a Pokemon Egglock Cage Lock with A Drive, and so I subbed to A Drive so I could watch both, the whole series. And I noticed that he was putting out these competitive Pokemon videos, and I was like, what is this? So I watched it, and it was interesting. Um, and I had known about Showdown for a while by then, but I hadn't really been serious on it. I was, just messing around, just doing random battles usually. So I thought, cool, maybe I'll try this out, see if I like it or not. And so I went looking, and this was before the days of Discord. Discord wasn't a thing back then when this happened. So I, did some looking on Twitter, because honestly, I don't know if you could even find it on Reddit back then. Or like, I just didn't know how to find it on Reddit. And so I found a couple people on Twitter that were hosting one. They were full, so I just watched at the time, but then someone dropped fairly quickly, so I took over. And then about a week or two after I took over, the whole league just stopped, and they weren't even that far into the league. There was just a lot of issues with that league, so they decided to stop. And you know, I realized that they just I didn't like how it was handled, and I mean, that's kind of how I got into competitive, which is actually going to go into our next question. How did the UPL come about? And so it goes from there, right? So we're continuing from that story of that Twitter league. Um, yeah, the Twitter league just did not go well. And I think they were going to start up a new season, but like I did not like how that first season was handled. I mean, it was literally 2 weeks long or something. It was not very long. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make my own league. And also, I felt that that was better at the time because, as someone who was brand new to competitive Pokemon, it meant I could make a league for other people like me who were brand new to competitive Pokemon and wanted a place to learn. Obviously, we would accept, people with experience, because we would need someone to, guide us and beat us up so we knew what we were doing. Um, but yeah, so I decided to make my own league. And again, Discord was not a thing at this time. So we were on Skype. And so we just had a Skype league. So I advertised for it, I think, on Twitter and on Reddit by then. And so, yeah, we were on Skype. It was very dysfunctional, as one can imagine. By the end of season one, Discord had already become a thing. So then by the end of season one, we moved to Discord. And I mean, you guys all know about the Discord server. And so, yeah, and originally UPL stood for United PokeTubers League, because at the time I thought the only way that you could be a competitive Pokemon was if you're recording it for YouTube, and most of us had small YouTube channels anyways, so that's where that came from. And then later on, a couple seasons after, I changed it to Pokemaniacs because people stopped with the YouTube channels. Not as many people were doing YouTube channels, and I think when I was advertising, it kind of seemed like I was making it so that if you weren't a PokeTuber, you couldn't come. So I was like, I'm just going to change to Pokemaniacs. Seems better. So yeah, that's how the UPL came about, and now we're 10 seasons in. So it's been about 5 years or so for the UPL, like from creation to start. As for seasons, it's been about 4 years with 10 seasons. What is your favorite team or core that you have drafted if you have one? So I originally To answer this question, I was going to use my WPF Season 7 team, just because that was the team that got me into semifinals. And then I looked at the team and I realized I don't actually like that team too much. Most of the Mons on there, I would not have drafted normally. And to be fair, I did not like a lot of the Mons on that team, which is weird considering I got to semifinals with it. So the more I looked at my other teams, I think the team that I had to go with for my favorite would actually be my UPL Season 8 team. This was the team with like Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, and whatever other Mons you see here. Um, so yeah, I think that would have to be my favorite. As for my least favorite, I know it's not part of the question, but my least favorite, I'm sure it's not going to shock anyone when I say my UPL Season 9 team, which was my rain team. That team was a huge experiment. I mean, I knew I eventually wanted to do a weather team. Uh, I'm glad I got it out of the way. I learned that I don't want to do that again. So that's that. What's next for the UPL now that we have done 10 seasons? So, as we mentioned, we just finished at the time of the recording this. UPL season 10 finished a couple weeks ago, which is huge. To me, that's a big deal. I don't know. That feels like we've been around for a long time. I mean, we have been here for 5 years, essentially. What's next? I mean, ideally, we grow in size. I would love to make like a D League. That would be ideal. Hopefully, it goes well. But yeah, just grow in size, build a bigger community. Um, that's really it. I mean, that's front end stuff. Back end spreadsheet, I mean, making it better. I feel like every season the spreadsheet becomes better and better. I don't know if you guys actually care about that or not, but that's for me because I mean, I'm the one that has to go in afterwards and do a lot of work. I mean, it started with me manually doing everything myself, and then I slowly started pushing it to other people, and then that wasn't working out too well. And then slowly I started making it less and less work, and now season's 11, I think you guys will see it, but it's actually very little work now for season 11 for everyone, for me, the coaches, assistants. It'll be very little work for everyone. Not to say that you're going to have no work. No, you're still going to have work to do. But I mean, just making everything cleaner and easier to use, and just making a bigger, better community. That's honestly what's next. I don't know what else to say there. But thank you to insert. Yeah, I forgot to change that. But that's honestly it for the interview. Thank you guys for watching. Next time we will have an actual guest, and it won't just be me talking to myself. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.